Sitting with you today is amazing. I was just thinking about that this morning. Like, man, I'm about to sit down with Sammy Joe.
Dang, you be thinking like that?
Yeah, no, for real. Because I mean, just everything. When you think about the path you take, coming from where you started at to where you are, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that you feel the same way about yourself. Like, it's amazing. Like, to be able to shake the hands of the people I've been blessed to shake the hands with today, it's just crazy to me.
Well, you know what? Like, you have done such a great job with this interview. Like, you take mad notes. Like,
for sure.
You really have, like, if I make you feel this way, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel great that I could make someone like you feel like this, because you're doing such a good job at what you're doing.
And you know what? I'm gonna ask you something. When you do interviews, okay, sometimes you feel hot, sometimes you feel like,
what do you mean?
And well, sometimes you feel, okay, I'm talking about me doing my job personally.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I'm doing a great job. And sometimes I feel like I'm like doing a whatever job. And I started feeling like that, like, damn, I don't think I'm doing the best. I don't think I'm asking the right questions. But that's what comes with this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to have your moments. I feel like when I feel like I'm not that good at it when I'm distracted at like home or something. Or something's like bothering me at that end. That's when I feel like I'm not that great at it. But I do like to step in every room and prepare myself right then and there before I walk into it, that I got this. That like I am that person who does this.
No, facts.
And
facts,
if I can give you any advice on that, if you ever have those moments, I would just recalculate my steps and to say that, like, I interviewed this person, that person. Like, are you kidding?
Sure,
like, I can get through another one of these.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We're
for sure.
walking faith.
For sure. No, facts. And that's what we're practicing on now, because, that's where I'm at in life. Like, every day I pray to God, like, please, can I make my living doing what I love and loving what I do?
Yeah.
That I was thinking about all kind of other stuff for a minute, but then I was like, my next goal really needs to be to make my living with this.
Sure.
And every day I get closer to that, and I believe that. Now, we got to talk about the conversation that you had with Sam 1. You said if it wasn't for Sam 1, Sammy Joe the Fox wouldn't have got out and did what she did when she spoke to Be Real.
That's true.
Bringing tacos to everybody, letting them know, because one of the main ways to get somebody to mess with you is putting that food in their stomach.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so you get in front of you gather the heart to get in front of Be Real and the crew, and present to them what we would know as is tits and tacos.
Tits and tacos on Be Real TV. It is oh my God, that show was a hidden gem to me. It was my first production, first show that I ever put together. We did throwback videos, new music videos. I had a segment called "It's not your booty, it's your beauty."
Shout out to Mike yesterday, Friday after next.
And that was us showing, because it was me and my homegirl DJ Crystal Alice, and that was our way of showing women support from. You know what? I mean, shoot, these ideas were, to me, like the most epic. We also did a How Many Drinks, because I used to like the Miguel How Many Drinks song, which was a pretty shallow one, actually, because we put people on the screen and we ask our people, like, how many drinks would it take for you to go out with this person? Or how many drinks would it take? But it was raw, it was funny, it was real. It was two girls saying that, like, hey, we smoke, because Be Real TV is a cannabis cultured entertainment, and that was where I started. So to me, it gave me that leverage of being myself still, because the women in our radio scene, they can't really just do that, and I wanted to be someone who really was like the girl Snoop Dogg, like,
I feel that.
Why should I have to not be the girl Snoop Dogg? Like, why can't there ever be a girl Snoop Dogg? Like, please, like, what's the real situation?
She said, please, come on, let us in.
We're here. Like, we're here. Like, and stop keeping us from these opportunities, because we ain't looking like the part, and we ain't doing this and we're doing that. Like, there's plenty of women who smoke weed now. Like, it's just, this is what it is. And I never wanted to fray from being myself. I wanted to be as strong as possible, to say that, like, I can do it. And Cypress Hill is a big part of being weed advocates.
Man, shout out Cypress Hill.
So how did I get put on, this little stoner girl got put on doing radio stuff with Be Real from Cypress Hill on a cannabis community show. I felt like God was like, here, practice here.
That's all it was.
It's God practice here.
Yeah, that's it.
For real. And I wouldn't have done that without San Juan because although I had made the connections already with some people at B-Real TV when I did stuff with Head and Tattoo, I went to San Juan's house, and she was living in the water tower at the time out here in LA, which is like crazy. This is rich people shit, right? And now your girl never done rich people shit. Yeah. So I'm up there where like in her spot where she has, you know, her balcony, and the balcony is all over. I mean, it's a different breath to take in. The walls are fucking high as hell, and I'm learning about motivation from people. And I'm, you know, you don't take advice from, and I don't now, because like a lot of people want to give you advice on things they don't know nothing about.
Oh my goodness, man!
You know, from the couch. I would say they always talk from the couch. Like I'm like, bro, like don't talk to me from the couch. Like I don't accept anything from there. But I saw her, and she, you know, we were talking here and there, and I grew up to her art because I grew up in Montebello and East LA, and her art was everywhere. So I watched this girl come from the bottom of the bottom, you know, selling shit with her mom, and always, I mean, her portraits would be everywhere, and I used to love seeing her dolls in places that I grew up in because she just made it beautiful. She would put these pretty girls with big eyes and big eyelashes, and that's the San Juan thing.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about. That's crazy. I've been seeing that growing up my entire life. It's crazy.
Okay, and so this is her, and I watched her grow into this. She started wanting to do clothes, and my homegirl Monique was working for her at the time. She hit me up. She's like, I'm at San Juan's house. Like, you want to come through? And I had already had the car. So there was no missed opportunity. Oh,
she had the car that time. She was ready to go.
So
okay.
I said, on my way.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going to miss no opportunity to hang out with Sam. So I got to hang out with Sam this time, like on that level. And we were cool. We were vibing. We were talking. And she was like, who are you? Like, who are you? Like, you're someone. Like, what's going on? You know, what do you want to do? Yeah. And I told her, well, I'm like, well, I did this show with Tat and blah, blah, and I want to get back into that again. I want to be a radio personality, and, you know, and she's like, well, why aren't you doing it? And I'm like, well, I have to get back into B-Real TV because, you know, he's going to come back and blah, blah. She's like, well, why don't you do it already? Yeah. And I'm like, well, because I don't have that, like, hookup. She's like, do you know someone there? And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, one of the guys there, you know, the sound guy. And she was like, well, hit him up. And I was like, okay, I will. She was like, no, hit him up right now.
She wasn't playing with you.
Oh, she was not. And at this time, when she said hit him up right now, it was like about 11 something at night. And I'm in this house, and I'm seeing her success, and her shit was like, why, do. Now. And I was like, I'm not gonna not listen to this girl. She sounds crazy, but I'm gonna take her advice because look where she's at and look where I'm at. You know what I mean? So I hit up my friend Shiki ASAP. Shout out to Shiki, man, because that shit would have never happened if it wasn't for Shiki. And Shiki was a big, huge help to B-Real TV. I mean, shoot, I know he's not there anymore, but he was a big fucking help to B-Real TV, and I want to give him his flowers right there because without him, it wouldn't have been possible. But I told him, can you get me a interview with B-Real? I want to pitch a show to B-Real. And he hit me back, and he was like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, let me know right now. And he hit me up again. He's like, Thursday. Done. Now I have an interview with B-Real TV, and I have to make up a show on a Monday to get to Thursday. Now that Wednesday, I went out. I was in West Hollywood for a friend's party, and I ran into DJ Crystal Alice out there, who was DJing, who ended up stopping at that club, just stopping by.
Just, you know, it's just God's will.
Just fucking stopping by.
Just God's will.
And she came to me, and we talked, and I used to babysit her kid, Harmony, and while she was in the clubs and stuff like that. And she was like, man, like, this stuff's getting hard. Like, I could tell she was going through it, like, she's like, I love DJing, but I don't know if this is for me, like, forever. And, like, I just don't, I feel like I need to do something and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to need a DJ. So, like, what about being a personality? Like, what, you think you can handle, like, us talking and whatnot? And you just DJ, like, throughout some of the show? And she was like, yes, done. Like, what? I'm like, we got an interview on Thursday, B-Roll TV. She's like, boom, B-Roll TV. Like, and she was just like, oh shit. So I'm like, I already have some ideas. Let's put them together and we'll do this thing. And it literally came up like, if the show's gonna be on a Tuesday, well, let's do something to do with tacos. And like, you know what, let's do taco reviews too. And like, we're girls, let's call it tits and tacos.
Yeah.
And she was like, I love it because it's TNT, like dynamite.
Yeah, for sure.
And we were like, we're on our way, we're gonna blow this up.
Mm-hmm.
But we did that for 5 years. And although we created a lot of traction, we created a lot of amazing relationships with those people, because some of those people blew up. My first performance on that show was Compton AV. That was years ago. Yeah. I've had AD on the
Shout
show.
Out to Compton AV,
AD before he was doing his personality thing. Like Timothy De La Ghetto. I had who else did I have on? I had so many people who ended up like just rising, and it was so amazing to watch. And then I realized I had a niche for picking talent.
Yeah.
And that was it. We learned everything through being at B-Roll TV, how to book people. You know what I mean? How to plan those things out, starting to use social media, how, you know, what you need on the back ends of like having a camera guy shoot, like those things cost money. Like we went through trials and tribulations. Like, let me tell you, we did. But that is where I see what has really made me, you know, that show made us. And it wouldn't have been possible, like without her making me make that call and make that interview happen. Because as soon as we showed up and I talked to B-Real, like he remembered me because we met once before that. He remembered I did a show with Tat. And then I just kind of gave him the scoop. I like I said, I got a bunch of tacos, took them to the whole crew there. I just laid them out on there. I think on the lowrider there, I just was like, here, like you guys can have that shit. And then we pitched the show. I said, I want to do this. She's a DJ, blah, blah. He was like, cool.
Let's go.
He was like, that sounds good. You know, you guys both smoke. You know, this is good. I think it sounds great. And boom, I walked out of there with my own show. Man,
beautiful. Yeah. And you took that risk. But see, that's another thing too. You know, in order for you to be a go-getter, you got to be surrounded by go-getters.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's inevitable.
It truly is. It truly is. You know, before I did all these things, I used to hang out with a bunch of stoners, you know, and like we all had dreams and we all would say certain things, but we wouldn't do anything about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And thankfully, like, that had to end. And, you know, as sad as we probably felt that like our friendships were going away and whatnot, I saw myself drift. And I started drifting towards the club first. And then I started seeing what my homegirls could do, you know, Leslie and Angie B. I started seeing what they could do independently. And, you know, it was around a lot of, you know, the gay women in West Hollywood. I also hadn't been around so many independent women. You know, I come from, you know, an area where the man reigns over everything. And, you know, we're just the chola moms, and we're just the young teen moms, and we're just, you know, we're just the side girl, or we're just the this and that, or, you know, we're the guy is the one who works and makes all the money, and, you know, like that's what you want, and all this stupid shit that I grew up around, that environment. Like when I moved myself out there and started to see these girls take care of themselves, I was motivated to want to take care of myself. That's right. You know, and it switched everything up for me. I also had a friend who she passed away. She's Angie B's best friend. Her name is Nora, and she used to be like, she's Angie's like homegirl, but she was also like her manager. But she was her biggest supporter, and I saw that in her. And when she took a liking to me and wanted to help me, you know, she was like, I'll pick you up, because they lived in Pomona. And she was like, I'll pick you up so that way Angie can teach you. She didn't even ask Angie if she could teach me. She just was like, I'll make something happen for you, because there's something about you that's special and you need to do it. Like, I know you want to be a little thug, but there's something there. And I took that also. I also was super motivated by that, because I'm like, if she thought Angie was special and Angie blew up, then, and she thinks I'm special, maybe I'm next.
No, for sure. And it's something else too, when people want to help you like that, ain't it kind of like weird? Like, man, you want to help me? Like, wow, like this is.
You know what? It's like, I used to want that like my whole life, like as a kid. Like, I'd be outside by myself, I'd be dribbling up and down the street or on my skateboard, and I was like, imagine if someone just stopped me and was like, dang, like, we want you. Yeah. We want to help you.
I mean, we all think like that.
We're gonna adopt you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There is, I feel like I have all, and that's why, like, coming to my later life, I'm just kind of like, wow, like my thoughts are just crazy powerful. Your thoughts are crazy powerful, and I don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on them, man. I'm telling you, learning how to control your thoughts is even more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Now, April 2018, the Tino Cochino Radio Power 983 audition.
Yeah, man, I got to go. I got a little free ride out to Arizona to try out for that radio station. Didn't work out.
But it's okay.
It was okay. You know
yeah.
what? It's totally okay. To be real, I mean, oh my God, when I look back, like, I mean, I don't even know how he feels about that. But I did my best. I feel like there was a really great traction there. There was just some things that just didn't cut it, I'm sure. I also went into like a meeting there where like I had said an answer, and they were like, he was like, I don't like your answer. So then I got into another place of me where I gave him my all realness, and I feel like that probably went too hard.
Hey, it happens though. You got to take the notes.
Don't ask me to be real if you don't want to hear it, because
yeah.
I will be as real as possible. But that's the difference too when it comes to the male and female situation here, because like Head could go and do that and they would probably hire him on spot, but I go do it and they're like, no.
So you feel like a disadvantage.
Yeah, we need a female who's gonna fucking listen to us, and not saying I don't listen, but it's like I'm probably more of a fight. Like they always ask me like, who do you not want to interview? For some reason, they always ask me that, and then I answer, and then they don't like it. Like I say, I don't want to interview Chanel West Coast. I don't feel like there's a reason for me to interview her, so I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't to my liking that I would, like once I got into this place where I could interview whoever I wanted, it was way better to think about the places that said no to me. Yeah. Because then I would have to be fake. And act like I really want to interview her, and I don't.
And that's a powerful one, because at one point I felt, I was kind of working with somebody, and they were kind of like, well, you need to interview whoever, kind of, sort of. And I'm like, what if I'm not feeling them? And they said, what, you think the Breakfast Club feel everybody they're interviewing? I'm like, you know what? I don't know. But I don't want to interview people I'm not interested in. Like, why do I have to be forced to do that? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't get that. But then I started feeling bad for that. But then, as I start speaking to more people who do this, they're like, no, you don't interview nobody you're not feeling.
You don't have to interview nobody you're not feeling. But you are going to get placed. Like when I do the concerts, when I have to interview backstage, I have to take a liking to what my boss wants and needs. Yeah, okay. So you have those moments. You know what I mean? But when it comes to, this is your show. Yeah. So like I wouldn't interview just anybody, like, and that's where me and Crystal Alice's dynamic used to go. It would kind of pull on each other, because she was like, well, this person has a lot of followers, and I was like, ooh,
that really don't mean nothing.
I was like, oh, I don't really care, like I don't like that music, or it's whack, or, you know what I mean? So we kind of would have a pull there, but we're also partners, so I would take it into consideration, and I would say too, because this is my thing, is like, I'm the talker. I'm usually the talker. I'm usually the interviewing person. If you have someone that like you can see I don't take a big liking to, like you talk to them more then. Yeah. That way you save me some, because people can see when I'm being fake.
It's to compromise. Yeah.
It's to compromise. And I realized that's when she started to put in my head, and I'm glad she did, is that like this is also something to market. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you do want to make that money and not have to work your real job, you're gonna have to sacrifice little moments. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'll keep putting it out there. I don't want to interview her, so that way that never happens.
She ain't playing. I heard you saying that too. I heard you saying it before. I see she's not playing about that Chanel West Coast. I understand. Now you weren't around when Tattoo was able to actually get on Dash Radio.
I was.
You remember how that moment was for him?
Oh yeah, well shoot, I was really busy at that time because I was doing the concerts, I was doing B-roll TV, I was going over there to support them, even though he kept throwing me on, and yeah, like I was just there to support, but he kept throwing me on to do. I had like a Netflix situation.
Well, shout out to him for doing that.
No, you know what? He has always been able to. He has always wanted and has tried to give me opportunity, where it's introducing me to someone, or jumping on the mic, or taking me to places he knows I've never been because I'm like a little alien. Like
she's crazy.
He knows what's up because he grew up like me, and that's where we get that from. You know, he's from my area, so he knows what's up. You know what I mean? But yeah, like he just changed my life, man. He just changed my life. I'm blessed to have met all the people I have because of him as well. But he knows though too that I've done my own thing.
Yeah, no, and that's what matters the most. And by the way, you went to high school with Chris Muniz, right?
Chris Muniz. Yes, Chris Muniz. Wait, no, I didn't go to high school with him. Okay. But we grew up partying together.
Okay, now shout out to Chris Muniz.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Cypress Marino with Catch 22.
Yeah.
Those two are the people who brung me around. When
shit.
they first brung me around, this is how, this door was able to open for me.
Very nice.
So when you speaking on, that's relationships, you know what I'm saying? When you speaking on people bringing you around and doing these things, though I got to give a shout out to them, and I'm forever thankful for those dudes.
That's what's up. That's a small world. How funny. Yo, shout out to Chris Munoz, for real.
Man, for real.
I'm trying to get Cypress on my shit too.
Okay,
I know he's always busy.
Yeah. Well, I actually holler at Cypress today. Shoot, I'll probably call him. I'll call him when we done.
Okay, let me know. Let me know.
Now 2019, speaking of working at the concerts, you were hosting for Bobby D at the Microsoft Theater. Yes. You got to interview the Mary Jane Girls. You got to meet the Zap Band, Moore's Day. You would interview, I don't know if it was at the same situation, but T-Boz and Chili, TLC, the Bangles, John B. Tank, Slick Rick, and you told me Genuine. People like Genuine was her man crush, y'all. Before there was a Man Crush Monday, Genuine was Sammy Joe the Fox's man crush every day. You know
my God. 100% Genuine was mine, for real. I was obsessed with him, and that was another full circle moment. Also, like I told you, the TLC thing, like I cried. Like the first time was just, to me, was bad, but the second time I even got a picture of T-Boz looking at me like, oh, she doing her thing. You know what I mean? But because I felt more comfortable, it was hard. I got hired like on a Wednesday, and then I had to work like on that Saturday, and all of a sudden it was these big celebrities, and I had to take that in and figure it out and face basically all my fears. Like I think Maya was on that one, Drew Hill was on that one.
Heavy hitters, legends.
Man, I interviewed, and then I told you, like growing up, the soundtrack of our childhood was like Keith Sweat. I am interviewing Keith Sweat. Like, like
crazy.
It's God. Like it just, and shout out to Bobby D and shout out to the whole team, because he could pick whoever he wanted to do that stuff, and he keeps picking me. And we get to do it again this weekend, Once Upon a Time in LA. And heavy hitters, but definitely a lot of nerves. But now that I'm already used to it, like I said, you have to walk into the room and be that person. You have to own it. So when I walk into that room, I'm like, okay, cool, you're Keith Sweat, but I'm Sammy Joe the Fox.
That's right. Come on, tell him again.
I mean? Like, you ain't doing anything. So it's definitely a part that you need to take into confidence, and you can walk into any room, and that's who, I've made my own name. That also helps.
That's right.
That's I think what sets me apart from everybody will be that. It will be that, like, Sammy Joe wasn't on this big name or behind her, and nobody was out there doing that, whatever. But for some reason, everyone still knows me, huh? It's crazy. Like, I'm still gonna run laps around you. You're gonna. Some people are gonna be in those high places, and I'm still gonna be.
That's right, doing your thing as you're supposed to. We gotta give Sammy Joe her flowers, y'all. It's very important, because she is doing what anybody else who's out here trying to be successful doing. And like Nipsey Hussle said, the only distinguishing quality between me and somebody else is that I never quit. Now, speaking of Nipsey Hussle, we got to talk about May 2019, a Nipsey Hussle mural. That same day, Angie Martinez Angie Martinez, the late great Angie Martinez, the only reason why she pulled over was because of that Nipsey mural. And guess what? Sammy Joe the Fox was there that day.
I actually walked out of Doing Tattoos show, the Big 3 Radio at Dash. And as soon as I was walking out, this truck was right there. And I walked and I seen this lady in the front and I was like, like I walked and then I was like, wait, like I'm tripping, but that's Angie Martinez.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm not the type, like, if I see, a celebrity, I don't go all crazy. I don't do anything. I don't like to, like, disturb nobody. I'm very, like, I could let things pass.
Yeah.
But I could not let this one pass. Like, why am I running into a legend that I look up to like that? It's the same thing with Big Boy. You know what I mean? Like, why was she outside of here, you know? And I walked backwards. I said, "I'm sorry. I don't mean to bug you. I'm not trying to be like annoying or nothing." Yeah. I'm like, Angie, you're my hero. Yeah. Like you're my hero. And like I'll show you like you're my hero. So I had show her something that I had posted about her. You know. I'm
right like, before that too.
Yeah, because I'm like to me like her picture with Tupac is like my picture with Nipsey. That's like, to me, those are like the similarities and the confirmations of like what I use for myself as motivation. And I mean, Angie Martinez just leads such a big way because she's a woman in this industry and she's Latina. And that really like, I mean, it stands out because there is someone like me there. You know what I mean? There is someone like me on the radio, it was an epic moment, and I felt like that was another. My life almost doesn't even sound real, like all the full circle stuff, but it's God for real. It's God for real. I was a busy girl back then too, and I just remember I was also doing a podcast at that time, another one, and it was just a full circle moment. She was like, cool though. She got out. She's like, no, what's up? Like, let me see. And like, well, she was like,
that's the best thing in the world.
She got her assistant to like do the following and do this and do that. And you know what? That might have been our only moment together and whatnot, but I'll never forget it. Like, we had a good talk. She loved what I was doing. She said, keep doing it. Like, she told me about this mural. We took pictures in front of it. I keep it as the background of my laptop to always remind me of that moment. Like, there is no... It's not for no reason that I've been meeting these people. There's not for no reason that these people haven't been put in my path. Everything is for a reason. So I always keep that in my visual to remind me that, like, that could be you someday. Man, facts. And you know what? I feel the same way. The people that I've been blessed to come across, it's like, this ain't for no reason. This ain't for no reason at all. Absolutely not.
And that's what happens when you start to follow your dreams or follow what you're passionate about. There are going to be some things that you accomplish that you didn't even think about. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. It'd be much more than what you ever thought.
For real. And
be
that's
careful what you ask for and be careful what you pray for.
Oh,
because that shit would be scary.
Fine line. Very fine line. It's a very fine line. Now, and one of the quotes that you quoted from Angie Martinez was, sometimes you have to show up for opportunities, even if you don't know where they lead.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you, Cypress has weekly events. He was having weekly events.
Yeah.
I didn't expect people to be there, but the people I started to meet there, I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You don't expect that. You just doing what you got to do.
You don't even know how many times I wasted money being at places that didn't offer me anything. You know what I mean? Like, you would still have to try. You still have to go and figure that out. I've done things like, I remember when I was working mostly for free, and I would just show up to anywhere I needed to be. Like, it didn't matter if I only even went to go see that one person. Man. It was like, I just needed to be there. And did I get anything out of it? No, but I just got to that one person, and that's all I needed to make that whole night. So yeah, I drove out, I wasted gas, I did all the, people put all that interpretation because they're like, well, I don't want to do this because I don't have this. I don't want to do that. Well, it's going to be all up to you at the end of the day. But I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity, because when you miss out on one opportunity, that's when it spirals down. You start missing everything. Everything starts to come through. Like, you got to fight for your opportunities, and that's how they keep growing. I wouldn't be who I am, or this wouldn't happen. Like, when Head told me I kept telling him, they keep saying no. They keep telling me no. All right, then make your own. So there you go.
Straight like that.
And now, you know, I'm on 4 shows now. You know, so it's like 4 shows and doing other people's stuff. Like, that came from people telling me no.
Man, using them no's to your advantage.
Absolutely.
You know? And speaking of that, creating your own. March 2020, the Homegirl Fox podcast begins.
Yes.
Now, when you first start this podcast,
Yeah.
what had you been through before that moment came where you was like, this is where I'm going?
This was the creating my door. This was a big creating my door because it was my podcast. And it had took me so long to start this podcast because I got like persuaded into doing someone else's podcast at a time. So this was like, I needed to establish my own name and be under only me. I also didn't think my podcast would go the way it's gone. It was not supposed to be the way it is. It was supposed to be, because I was meeting all these people. I was like, oh, I'm going to have like all these celebrities on.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, this is where I'm like, you know, I'm executing my concert stuff and I'm really making relationships there because they're seeing me a lot and they like me. So I'm like, cool, now I get to have like a bigger audience, you know, compared to what I did at like BOTV. But it didn't go like that. The pandemic hit and I started it right before it hit and everyone closed off. Like, no one could come. No one wanted to come. Like, it was crazy. So I started putting like my friends in it and my family in it. And then I started putting myself in it. And my podcast has probably become almost like the story I leave behind. Like, it's a lot of my vulnerable shit on blast. And a lot of other people's stuff on blast as well. Because it's people telling their real story. You know, it's not... And it honestly has driven me away a little bit from celebrities because those are the stories like that help people. Those are the stories that people take those and they're like, dang, like that didn't just happen to me. And damn, I'm not alone. And damn, she made me feel like I can do better. And
that
she made me feel like all the messages I get from being transparent, from putting myself on blast, to putting my family on blast, you know, it's not always easy. It definitely isn't. You touch things that people are like, ooh, like, why did you say that? Like, no one wants you to put nothing on blast, especially the truth. But I found it to be, I always used to pray for something. I never prayed to be on the radio. I used to pray and tell God, take me to the next level so I can spread your messages. And now that I'm seeing the product of what the podcast does, I'm like, well, this is what I prayed for, huh?
That's right.
You know what I mean? I'm not worried about if it makes money or not anymore either. I don't worry about any of that stuff anymore. Even though, like, if the time came up and I had to, you know, figure out money situation, I would. But, you know, God threw me a sponsor too, and like I'm very lucky that I don't have to do that. But it was that moment of realizing that what I did pray for actually is coming to life every time I do one.
That's right.
You know, so like even recently that I did the one with DJ Head, like that we had waited so long to do because I was like waiting for this perfect moment. You know, we talk about I'm like waiting for the lights, and I was like, oh, I don't have anything, and like the rooms look stupid, and he would have done it no matter what. I know him. He would have just done it on the phone. But I was waiting for my moment to have with him to show him too that like, look at where we're at. Like, man, you helped create this. Like, there's a camera, I got a cameraman, I got my guy who you know, helps me with the content. Like, there's real cameras in here.
You know, it's a beautiful situation, for real. It is. It's very, you can tell that's professionally done. And then, you know, one of the things you talk about on Twitch is that you can actually make money on Twitch.
Yes.
And it allows you to be more creative. So what about Twitch allows you to be more creative?
Oh, everything. Well, we use like a green screen, so you could like almost just put wherever you want to be at. You know, that I like because I love visuals. I like to create them myself. I don't have anything crazy going on, but like when I make something, I make something. And also too, like people have different they like are emojis. They call them emotes on Twitch. And I mean, I have one of myself. Like you can actually make your own version of what you want. So you see the West Side in there and the LA and all that. It just brings a vibe. But there's a community of people, and they've been following me since I was doing IG Live. Some of them have been following me since B-Roll TV, but like it went from IG Live of keeping people happy during the pandemic, playing them music and talking to them about real shit, to saying like, okay, let's take it to Twitch, because on Twitch, they don't stop you from playing your music. You know, so like when we're on IG Live, like they turn you out because of copyrights, and like, you know, they're like, oh, you can't play Prince, let's turn you off, you know. Here, you can play anything you want.
Okay. And
it leaves that, like, it almost leaves, like, the format free, you know, it's an open format for you to do anything you want. So whether you're talking or playing music or going back and forth, it's just, it's created what people think they need from a big label. You know, I'm on my own network.
Yeah.
So like you get to create your own network there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I just wanted to I just kind of combined the two. I was like, I want an ultimate listening party, but at the same time, I want them to be able to explain certain things in the song, and it doesn't have to be too long. I want to keep people's attention shorter, and let them vibe, and then see if they like them when they talk. Yeah. So this is a combination of their music and how they can keep their personality attached to their music. And that's how play and pause really works. So it's play the music and pausing with the artist to talk about it. And
it's a beautiful situation. So if you have not tapped into what Sammy J. Fox has gotten going on, I pray that you do it now, because she's got some brilliant things going on.
Thank you, man.
I got to ask you, last but not least, when you think about everything you've been through and where you're standing today, what do you clap it up for about what's going on in your life?
Man, I clap it up for the effort. I clap it up for effort. Like, people don't know what you go through behind closed doors. You know what I mean? And I do realize that the bigger you get, the more people have stuff to say. And it's like, there's a lot of people who don't want to do the work. And I'm most proud of all the work I've done just to make it to this day. Like, just trying to be better, trying to be more mature, trying to just never quitting and always trying is it.
Yes.
It's it. It's everything that I do clap for. It's how many people I've been able to help. It's how many people, people have a very different thinking situation. That's why I love Head, because like his free game, that means everything to me, and it's made me the way I am, you know. And all we ever looked for wanted was help.
Yeah, that's right.
That don't come too easy. Yeah. But now you get in a place where you put yourself as the person who's able to help the world, and that's a definite big reason to clap it up.
Yeah, that's it right there, y'all.
Yeah.
It's J.Brock, Clapitup LA, Sammy J. Fox. Man, you already know I appreciated it. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with Sammy J. Fox.
Please
you
do
not want to miss what she got coming. West Coast, y'all.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?